I want to talk about anxiety for a hot minute because it's something I've struggled with for my entire life. And for so long, it was just normal. It was what I was raised with. It was, I believe that anxiety is kind of it's a learned behavior. And I also feel like certain people are more wired that way. So it's kind of genetic. So more than likely, if your grandma or your mom had some form of anxiety, it becomes part of who you are, right? It's just how we're raised. It's how we go out into the world. And for so long, I struggled so hard with anxiety, and I never even realized that's what it was until I got older. And there were certain things I couldn't do. Like I wouldn't gas up my car, and I wouldn't go banking, and I hate talking on the phone. I just was on the phone, actually. And I really hate the phone. I avoid the phone. Like if you call me, there better be a good reason that you're calling me. Like I much prefer to text. I much prefer to Facebook. I can talk to, oops, sorry. It doesn't give me as much anxiety. But I just never was able to really put the two of those things together. The fact that this weird floopy feeling that I called it was anxiety. Like my heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest, and I wanted to puke, and it was butterflies in my stomach, but not good butterflies, more like demonic mean butterflies. And I would sweat. And I really hated anything outside of my comfort zone and outside of things I could control. So the one thing that's helped me, a couple things that really helped me, the first is exercise. Like I exercise. It's not about six-pack abs, and it's not about Barbie arms or the size of my clothes. It's about having something to control. It's about being able to control my life when everything feels so out of control. As a mom, there's so few things you can control, but I can control my workout. I can control whether or not I show up every day. I can control whether or not I decide to push harder. And so exercise has helped me so much. The other thing that's helped me so much with my anxiety and managing it and retraining my brain is affirmations. And so that's why I'm such an affirmation junkie and why I talk about it so much, because it's really, really helped me. And so if you are just getting started out with affirmations, you're like, what are you talking about? It's going to feel totally weird and crazy, and you're going to think it's wacko, just like I did. And sometimes they still do, but it works. I read somewhere, I listened to a podcast, they were talking about how our brains are actually kind of stupid. Your brain believes what you tell it. And so if you're always looking for the bad, if you're always trying to war game to stay ahead of what might happen, that's all your brain is going to look for. You're programming yourself to find the bad, to find the danger, and that's partially how we're wired as humans, right? Because we need to be alert and aware of things and all that, protect our young. But it's not a healthy or safe way to live. And for so long, especially being married to someone in law enforcement, that was it. I was always wargaming. I was always worrying. I was always making a plan. What if he didn't come home? And what if this happened? And I was in this perpetual constant state of fear and anxiety. And someone in law enforcement would die, and I would put myself into that widow's shoes, and I would obsess about it, and I would cry, and I would just put myself in this really awful place I didn't need to be putting myself into. And I'm so glad I finally kind of woke up and saw the light that your brain is going to recognize whatever you're telling it to be true as truth. So if you're telling yourself that you're dumb and that you can't do it, that it's too scary, that bad things are going to happen, well, guess what? That's all going to become true. So you're the driver of your bus, and it's really important to take an active, proactive stance in the things you tell your brain and the stories you tell yourself, because all those stories can become true. So why not? You're already talking to yourself. Why not tell yourself the positive? Why not tell yourself the good? And so if you don't know how to affirmation, well, welcome to the club. I didn't either. It's really not overcomplicated or really complicated at all. For me, I usually do whatever I'm struggling with. So if I feel like there is not enough money, I link it to gratitude, right? I am so grateful that we have enough. I am so grateful that we are blessed. We have enough. Everything is going to work out just the way it's supposed to. We are favored. I am organized. I can do hard things today. I will step into who I want to become. These are really how my affirmations still sound, and I've been journaling them, but I do believe there's so much power in saying them outside of your head. So if you aren't saying affirmations, you're really missing out, because you're already talking to yourself. You're already telling yourself stories. So why not make those stories count? Make it count. Change your freaking life. And if you keep looking back in your rearview mirror at how you used to be, you're not going to see all the amazingness ahead of you. You're not going to be able to see the good and the magic and the beauty and all the like things that are going to change you into who you're supposed to become. The old you is the old you. You will never be the old you again. So if you've had babies recently, or maybe you had a relationship that fell apart, or whatever it is, that's in the past. You will never be that person again. Why would you want to be that person again? We should always be striving to be growing and getting better and like rocking our freaking life. So stop comparing who you are today to who that person is. That person, all these different experiences and things that have happened to you are going to shape who you are going to become, who you currently are. You're still a work in progress. So stop trying to get back to that person and try and move forward with all these new lessons, all these new experiences, all these new milestones, and rock your life. Rock your life. Don't just be content to, don't try and get back to who you are, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And so I was just having an amazing conversation with someone about how affirmations have changed my life so much. And so I share a lot about that, but it really has totally changed my life, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it because I was a hot mess. There were so many things I wouldn't do, I couldn't do, and I still find myself putting those limitations in that kind of cage. It's my own doing, right? And thank God I finally realized that I get a say in all of this. I can tell my brain what I want it to find, and it will find it. Sounds so hokey, doesn't it? But it really does work. So if you guys are affirmation junkies, I want to hear about it. I want to know if you're doing affirmations. I want to know if you're struggling with affirmations. If you need me to tell you more about what I do, I am more than happy to. But you're the driver of your bus, so make it count. Stop comparing yourself to who you were once upon a time, because who you are now is so much better than that. And even if you're a work in progress, that's okay.